Hello?
Hi, said, how are you?
Good, man. Bit unusual, chatting on a Sunday. So, how's everything with you in general?
Been a bit of busy week work-wise, so yeah, weekends just fly or flown by, and here we are talking about the final.
Yeah, man. Yeah, before we get to the unexpected final, because not many would have chosen it, we get to England versus New Zealand. England dominated most of that match, but the Kiwis never die attitude came through. Your quick thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think the trend in this World Cup has been win the toss and win the game. Basically, the way I
Hmm.
see it. I think apart from two games that I can think of in this tournament, the team that's actually bowled first and chase the score down is usually one. I think 95, 96% of the time. I mean, you can
Hmm.
correct me on
Hmm.
that, but I think that's probably most of the time where it's won. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
definitely.
mean,
Yeah,
it,
definitely.
it's really
Yeah.
unfortunate that a lot of times the toss actually plays a part in who wins the game. And
Hmm.
I mean, this game was no, but I mean, I just want to say something about New Zealand. I mean, they've been a side that's been in tournaments for such a long time, and they've always been under the radar. And I just had a feeling, restricting England to 166, that they had a chance here. They really had a chance. This was a sort of score that they could have chased down, and it proved to be the
Yeah.
case. Uh, it's just a case of one partnership from. The partnership between Conway and
Mitchell, I think.
sorry Mitchell was really
Yeah.
really important. I mean, it was an excellent start from England. I mean, they had them down
Yeah.
13 for two, I think, at one stage. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that innings from Mitchell really was a standout for me in that game because I mean
Mm.
it was a sort of strange innings in a way because he really wasn't timing the ball. He really wasn't timing the ball, sweetly. But he
Mm.
just stuck in there. And I mean, when the bad balls came towards the end, it was it was a case of cashing in, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, never did
Mm.
I imagine that Jordan. I mean, he's a dead ball master, uh, expert. When he went for 20, and that I felt swung the game in New Zealand's favor. I mean, those three sixes from Nisham was
Mm.
amazing. I mean, that really put the cats among the pigeons. I mean, really, really, that took the game away from New Zealand, from England, because it seemed like 50-50 in a way, for a large part, because I
Yeah.
mean, New Zealand were obviously, a little bit below the run rate, but that over in especially really swung the momentum in New Zealand's favor. But I mean, England, there was a lot about the side, lots spoken about them leading up into the semi-final, but I felt, you know, that that injury to Roy really, was a big blow. It really proved to be a big blow
Yeah.
in the end for them because I don't think Besto really cut it in that innings up the order with Butler. And I felt, Roy and obviously Butler, they complement each other a little bit more, a little bit better, and
Mm.
they've battled with each other for a long time now, opening the innings in T20s. So they have that, they have that sort of. I just want to say that understanding as an opening pair, and
Yeah.
you just in England probably, if they look back, they probably say they were 20 runs short, and had Roy been there,
Yeah.
they probably would have got those 20 runs. 186,
Mm.
probably a little bit more closing total. But I mean, having said that, 166 was not a bad total in the semi-final. It was a good
Yeah.
total. It's just that, I mean,
Mm. Yeah. That's that one over by
you're
Nisham
bound to
really
look
changed the game. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, fair play to New Zealand. And as I said, they've come into this tournament. I mean, they've come into the semi-final under the radar, I feel, as well. I mean, although they knocked out a big team like India in the group, I mean, not many were giving them a chance, and here they are in the final. I mean, it's crazy to think about it.
Yeah, but I did tell you that New Zealand on what I did tell you that New Zealand could beat England. Remember on WhatsApp, and you were laughing at me. You were writing it off. But I always know when New Zealand are one of those teams. Don't write off. They're just so tricky.
Look, uh, I kind of sense that England was still going to be favorites even without Roy. You know that was
Of
obviously
course, yeah,
the thing going
yeah,
into the game. But
yeah. They were favorites,
I
but
think
never
I
out of
think
New Zealand.
I think
Yeah,
New Zealand side they do the basics well. They do the basics
yeah,
very
very
well
well.
in
Yeah.
terms of their batting. So I mean,
Mm.
this was a workmanlike performance from New Zealand at the end of the day, and I mean,
Mm.
they deserve to be in the final. I mean, one of the favorites are out, so yeah, uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
to be in the final.
so let's get to the next one. I know the next semi-final really upset you a lot, but let's just get it out of the way. Pakistan, Australia, we both had concurred, I think, on Pakistan winning this one. But I think, yeah, man, again, another toss that probably, I don't know if you can really make it much about the toss, 'cause I don't think there was that much deal, but maybe there was. So I think Pakistan being out of the World Cup is a bit of a shock because, as I said at the beginning, you never would have expected a New Zealand Australia final. Yeah, man, your thoughts again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the nature of T20 cricket yet again. I mean, you're bound to lose one, and unfortunately, this
Hmm.
was the semi-final that Pakistan
Hmm.
lost.
Hmm.
I think they really they really lacked in their disciplines in this game, especially their bowling and fielding. I don't think their bowling and fielding was up to scratch. I mean,
Yeah.
176 was quite a good total that Pakistan put up. 176. But you almost got that feeling that Australia. I mean, if they had a good power play and they had a good first 10 overs, they probably would have fancied their chances chasing the score down. But I mean,
Hmm.
what disappointed me from Pakistan in this game was their fielding. I think their fielding really let them down quite badly in this game. And the first 10
Yeah.
overs, I mean, that first 10 overs really said a lot about Pakistan in this game, that they were really under the pump. I mean, Australia were like 89. I think they were 80. They had 89 on the board after that first 10. I think they were three down, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, still, that's nine and over. And they were well within the required rate. So
Yeah.
that
I
really
think,
was a bit
yeah,
disappointing.
they were about 89 for four. They were like 89 for four, but I think that was after 10.1 overs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's leave the wickets column down for a bit, but I'd say they were still
Yeah.
within the run rate. In a T20,
Yeah.
all you really have to do
Mm.
is stick with the run rate, and you got a chance.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hassan Ali, he really has had a disappointing tournament, and this was another stinker from him. I'm sorry to say this
Yeah.
was this was another stinker of a game from Hassan Ali. Uh,
Mm.
his bowling obviously was a bit disappointing in this game. And
Yeah, but
I mean,
his drop weight
I
is
mean,
pretty
I
much.
don't want to say too much.
I think that cost him the World Cup,
I
man.
don't want.
Yeah.
Look, I don't really want to read too much into this, but catches win matches.
Yeah.
I think Australia needing 20 or two, they would have still fancied their chances either way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, 20 of two overs in T20 cricket is pretty much a foregone
Mm.
conclusion. Uh,
Yeah.
for a lot of betting sides, even if they
Yeah.
5 or 6 wickets down, they can still fancy their chances of getting that. But I mean, that
Yeah.
catch, wow, it really was. It really was one of those days for Pakistan. I mean, it could have been
Yeah.
so much different. I think I would say for 35 overs in this game, they were really in it. So they were really in this game, and I think the last
Mm.
5 overs
Yeah.
really Australia took it away from them. And
It
yeah,
reminded it's similar to the New Zealand game also, because even England had dominated the majority of the game, and then it's just those 5 overs went down the drain. So it's like I would feel sorry for a punter in that situation. Twice he would have been disappointed, hoping for the predictable outcome. But anyway, that's how it. But I think if you look at Babar Azam's innings now, there was an article saying that his innings was a bit cautious. Let me just see. 39 of 34. If you bat a 30 ball, they should be starting to attack. You shouldn't be that run rate. And then also I think it would have been interesting at that catch being taken. You would have had Patrick Cummins coming in, and then who knows what could have happened. But yeah, I guess that's how it goes, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of what could have been for Pakistan. I felt
Hmm.
in this game. I mean,
Hmm.
look, this is the final we never really saw coming. I mean, even prior to the semi-finals, I mean, we had took these two teams to let it go quite far. I mean, if you look at the group stages, Pakistan were impressive. They were really outstanding in the group stage, group phase, and England as well. I mean,
Hmm.
although they lost the last game to South Africa, but I
Hmm.
think they actually good money for winning that group, and the rest of
Yeah.
those games that they did win, they won quite comfortably. So
Yeah.
this is really, it's just really come down to the toss more than anything else. I would feel in these games, and
Yeah.
teams probably fancy their chances chasing more than actually setting a score because it's the opposition. I feel they rather know what they're chasing than what's a good score to actually try and defend, because I think defending has been quite difficult in this World Cup for a lot of teams, and we've seen it again in these games here where I mean it could have went either way so easily, but you almost felt the batting side had the advantage in the end. If they had wickets in hand, they could have got the job done. But yeah, I mean, credit to New Zealand and Australia. I mean, they played the smarter cricket in these two semi-finals. Unfortunately, it's back to the drawing board for England and
Yeah.
Pakistan. I think Pakistan really they playing a final in UAE. They really would have fancied their chances big time because I mean these are literally home conditions for them. But in
Yeah.
T20 cricket, it's about home conditions. It's never always the host that actually win the tournament, and it's proven the case in this tournament as well, where the host nation eventually falls short, and this is
Hmm.
exactly what happened as well. I mean,
Hmm.
as India were touted to host this tournament, I felt Pakistan probably felt like the home team in this in this World Cup with the support and the pitches really suiting their style of play. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is just one that got away, and this is T20 cricket for you. And I did make a comment about this. I mean, after the Pakistani game, that a T20 is the one format where it's not always the best team or the favorite that ends up winning. I mean, if you look at
Yeah.
Test cricket and
Right.
ODI,
Hmm.
more often than not, that the best team is always going to come out on tops. But
Yeah.
T20, it's of T20, it's helter skelter, and it's a case of one innings. It's just a case of
Hmm.
one innings that can take a game away from you, either with the
Yeah.
ball or with the bat, but more with the bat. And
Hmm.
it's just proved to be the case. But I mean, it takes nothing away from Pakistan and England. They're still fantastic T20 sides, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this is the nature of T20 cricket. This is the nature of T20 cricket, where I would say from a spectator's point of view, it's quite a nightmare predicting who's going to win the World Cup. And I think these semifinals have proved that we really can't take anything for granted in 2022, the next edition, because anything is possible and any team can come out on tops in T20 cricket. So, I mean, good
Hmm.
luck making predictions for the 2022 World Cup, whoever wins today. But I just feel T20 is a sort of format where,
Hmm.
I mean, the top teams, I would say, or any team on their day, really has a chance of upsetting anyone else.
Yeah, but I think I know you are not a fan of this whole bogey term, but I read an article about Australia being a bogey team for Pakistan in knockout matches, and it was something that I was hoping wouldn't have happened, but since it has happened, I think there's probably a case for it. Like New Zealand's become like a bogey team now for India, which is kind of becoming a trend, even for us in a way, but we didn't get to play New Zealand,
Uh,
so that's how it
I,
goes, you
I,
know.
I mean, I don't like to think too much along those terms of bogey sides, because I
Uh-huh.
mean, we could have said that England were a bogey team for New Zealand, but I mean, New Zealand came out on Trump, so I don't think it's always the case. I just feel it's probably down to T20 cricket, Sid, and the nature of T20 cricket, where
Mm.
it's just one inning from you. I would put it down to that in that sense, because I mean, Pakistan. Uh, I would think that even if they probably would have been in trouble with that sort of fielding and bowling display that they obviously, put out against Australia, because I think their
Yeah.
disciplines in that game really let them down. Not so much with the bat, but in the field and in the bowling department.
Yeah. But I have a theory though. Had England made that final, I think Pakistan would have been so amped to have won that semi that they would have wanted to play England. But I think that, but since New Zealand went through it, it must have been like a bit of a mixed bag. Because fine, New Zealand did let them down, but not as much as England because they were there for England when the COVID cases were at, they were like third highest in the world. So just a theory, but you never know with theories. But yeah, man, we'll get to the preview of the final now.
Yeah,
I
but I
think,
mean, look,
okay.
look. Uh, I think the one thing in T20 cricket as well is if you do obviously face an injury concern, and it's quite a senior player, it really
Mm,
hampers your momentum, especially
mm,
going into a semi-final. And that proved to be
yeah.
the case for England, because I mean, had Jason Roy been there, we would have talking about a totally different final today. We were probably looking at England making 185, 190 in that semi-final
Yeah.
and winning that game quite comfortably in the end. And
Mm,
now we talk
mm,
about
yeah.
156. I felt
Yeah.
was a pass score. A lot of times 166 is a pass score in
Yeah.
T20 cricket, and it proved to be the case in that game as well. And New
Yeah.
Zealand, chased that down quite comfortably. So the injury to Jason Roy was a real blow for England. And unfortunately, that's part of sport and part of life. You
Yeah.
just got to move on. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it takes nothing away from England. I think they'll still be one of the favorites to win this tournament in 2022 as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I mean, disappointing and for them, but it takes nothing
Hmm.
away from them as a side. And same can be said about Pakistan. It's just that their disciplines on their day let them down.
Mm, mm. Okay, so the final now between these two, as you would call them, big
France,
brothers. Yeah, Transmanian
yeah,
teams like yeah, they call them one is the big brother and one is the small brother, but they have this interesting rivalry. And though Australia are favorites, I would want New Zealand to win purely because they've played in, I think, in all the venues. They've done everything you could have asked of them. They've batted first winning, they've defended. I mean, you couldn't ask anything more from the team. So I think if you're looking at a more deserving win, I think it would be New Zealand. But yeah, we can only hope for the best.
yeah. I mean, looking going to this final now. If you look at a complete side, I think New Zealand is a complete team. I mean, if you look at a side that's won on all surfaces, that goes to show that this side has really been a complete side in this tournament. They've got their discipline spot on, and obviously from a neutral point of view, I mean, I'd love New Zealand to win this. Just purely on the way they perform in this tournament on all venues. I
Hmm.
mean, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, they've won on all
Yeah.
venues. They've been able to adapt their game on all venues, and
Yeah.
like we said, they do they do the basics so well. They're such a
Hmm.
disciplined side on the field that I don't think that this is a game that they're going to shy away from the discipline. But having said that,
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to this over and over again. I do feel the side that wins the toss is going to win this game, Sid. Unfortunately, I just have that funny feeling here that you probably want to chase, even though it's a final, you probably want to chase in Dubai than actually set a score. So this is the unfortunate thing at the moment, because if you had to ask me about a complete side in this tournament, I'd definitely say New Zealand really deserve to win this title.
Yeah. So, okay, so we both are going for Australia favorites, but we both want New Zealand to win.
I I, I wouldn't say Australia favorites. I'd say it's
Okay.
I'd say it's 50. It's definitely 50-50. There is no clear favorite game, so I don't want to read too much into this Australia being favorites because they knocked out one of the favorites. I mean, let's face it, New Zealand have also knocked out one of the favorites. So to me, it's 50-50, and it's all going to come down to the toss, unfortunately. But hopefully, New Zealand's all-round skills pull them through. And I feel, this
Yeah.
is a side that's been in ICC tournaments for such a long time. They've been in ICC tournaments longer than the Proteas, and they've suffered so much of heartbreak along the
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
I just feel this time could really make up for 2019. Because I
Yeah.
mean, 2019 was a tough one for them to swallow, and it was a pitiful. I mean, they lost by the fairest of margins, and they were so good in that final.
Hmm.
Let's not forget. And I feel them winning this will it's really going to be sort of reward for all the hard work that they put in.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see
The last
the good
years
boys. At least it'll show
tournament.
that, yeah, it'll be nice to see the nice
They worked
boys do well in cricket, not the bad boys.
absolutely so hard. They worked so hard to get to where they are, and yeah,
Yeah.
they really deserve this. They really deserve this one. But yeah, it's all going to come down to the toss. So yeah, I'm hoping
Yeah.
for Black Caps win
But
here.
it's a funny story because had the 2019 gone to New Zealand, they would have won two of the major championships, and this would be like a hat trick. But now they'll have to settle for two out of three, which is not bad. I mean, you'll take that any day of the week.
Absolutely, but I mean, you really can't say what would have happened. You really can't say. Probably, I
Mm.
mean, if New Zealand were coming into this tournament as world champions, I think a lot of teams would have wanted to beat them and wanted
Mm.
to knock them out. So, it's a beautiful thing, hindsight. So you really never know what could have happened, but you really
Yeah.
felt New Zealand coming into this tournament were a bit of a dark horse. And
Mm.
by them playing under the radar, it really helped them.
Yeah.
Even in that India game, that really helped them being under the
Yeah,
radar
but
because India,
I was worried about
I
that
mean,
clash.
all the
I
pressure
told you
was on
about it.
India.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, I was always worried about that clash because had India beaten Pakistan, I wouldn't have minded India losing to them because I know India would have gone through with net run rate and all that. But once they lost to Pakistan, I was very worried about that game because I know you don't like to hear the term
absolutely.
bogey, but I know that bogey thing came to be true, and well, that's how it goes. So let's talk about the India versus New Zealand now. I know they've got that T20 squad against New Zealand. I like the look of it. It's for the future. They've got people such as Gaikwad, Shreyas Iyer, Suryakumar Yadav, Pant, Kishan, Venkatesh Iyer, Chahal, Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Avish Khan, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Deepak Chahar, Harshal Patel, and Siraj. So what are your thoughts on that squad?
Yeah, it's a very youthful squad, very young squad, but very talented squad as well. I mean, Gaikwad, he's been superb in the IPL. He deserves his place there, and Aya as well. So I'd
Mm.
like to see those players obviously get a good run out. And
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
uh, look, from the bowling side, I mean, Harsha, I mean, he was the find of the IPL. He really took the IPL by storm, and he deserved his place. And I was surprised that India really didn't play him in this tournament because I thought he would have his bowling would have suited these wickets,
Yeah.
and he would have done pretty well. But unfortunately, that's they went with who the tried and tested there. So, but I mean, this is a chance for him to really stake his claim in international cricket and
Mm.
really cement a spot in this Indian side because I mean this is one for the future, but it seems like a very strong Indian squad that they picked here. There seems to be a lot of depth,
Yeah.
and Indian cricket has a lot of depth. So
Yeah.
yeah, this team, I mean, they could probably pick two or three teams here, and they would still do well. So I mean,
Yeah.
the Kiwi that's going to be coming here really have their work cut out against this Indian team.
Yeah, man. I'm only concerned like how they're gonna fit in these players such as Iyer, Gaikwad, because if KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma play, I mean, those two will naturally open. So I would prefer Rahul to have taken a rest. So at least you could have had Rohit Sharma and Kishan opening the batting, and then maybe you could have Iyer at number three or Gaikwad. Or my theory is that if they win the first match easily, then you could have a situation where you could do Kishan and Rohit Sharma, but I don't know how they're going to do it. But who knows? Or maybe I'm thinking maybe the series will just be full of experimentation. Doing a lot of experiments, putting Iyer at 3. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, that could happen. I mean, there could be a situation where they might drop, they might rest Rahul or they might rest Sharma and give the youngsters. So I think there should be a rotation
I don't think they'll rest
policy
Sharma.
going
Sharma's the
there.
captain. No, Sharma's the captain. You can't rest him. But I would have thought they would have at least rested Rahul, and then it would have been like that.
Is,
But
is KL Rahul that's, leading the side? I think it's KL Rahul. I think KL Rahul is leading the side. It's
no.
not
Sharma.
Sharma.
No. Oh yeah, KL Raul's vice captain, so I guess you can't rest KL Raul either. So, yeah, well, I'm sure it's this whole series is part of
Uh,
experimenting to see where these players can fit in. It'd be
I,
nice to see Iyer
look,
playing,
I'm sure they can fit them into the squad because
hopefully.
I mean, you're not going to have Kohli, you're not going to have
Hmm.
the uh, who's the other experienced players that we missing here?
Bumrah's not playing, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean the bowling you can there is a lot of rotation that can be done there, uh,
Yeah,
and I think 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably you can bring in those youngsters and yeah, it's
yeah,
I think this
yeah.
if there was ever
Even
a chance to
Lota
it's
Thakur is not playing in the series, which I found a bit weird. And then you had Jadeja, and I understand is not playing. He's played too much. So, anyways, I think what was I gonna say to you? Oh yeah, I remember that Kohli and Rohit Sharma not playing that first Test match against New Zealand either, and I think Ajinkya will be captaining, but that's only for one match, and then Kohli will come back for the second Test onwards, and then yeah, it's going to be a really fascinating series.
I think we are going to get a sort of stronger squad for that Test series. I think Tests are still a
Yeah,
priority, and you want to play your best for Test cricket. So look, I wouldn't mind dropping KL Rahul for one of those games. He's played a lot of cricket as well, and Rohit as well. I mean, they can rotate the captaincy around there. It's not a big issue. It's not that big an issue, and probably play Kishan up the order with either KL or Sharma. So I don't think it's a real big deal, the captaincy thing. I think it's about giving that new brigade of youngsters a chance. So I don't really think the captaincy should really be
no. Captaincy is important. I don't mind Rohit Sharma being the captain. It's just that I would have thought, okay, Rahul could have been rested, and then Ishan Kishan could have opened, and then you have Iyer at number 3. Because Ishan Kishan is at his best opening. I mean, fine, he had that one bad game against New Zealand, but that can happen to anybody.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, you talk about
pardon?
KL and Sharma. They play the same amount of cricket, so it really doesn't make any
Huh?
difference who gets uh, KL and Rohit have played the same amount of cricket over the past couple of months. They played. I think they played simultaneously for the Indian squad and in the IPL. So uh,
Yeah.
either one can be listed. So it really doesn't make much of a difference because I mean they're not going to be playing the most difficult of squads that's going to be coming there. I think there's going to be a lot of fringe players in that New Zealand side that's going to be coming to India. So yeah, I think it's a good time to give the youngsters a chance.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll just have to follow that. If we look at the Test squad, there's Rahane captain, there's KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, Pujara, Gill, Shreyas Iyer, Ridhaman Saha, and then you have Bharat, then you have Ravinder Jadeja, Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Jayant Yadav, Ishan Sharma, Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, and Prasidh Krishna, which was quite an interesting inclusion. But I think the Test team should be okay. But then I know Kohli is not going to play the first Test, and neither is Rohit Sharma. So I think, but then
Yeah,
Ajinkya is
I
such
mean,
a good captain. I
uh,
think they should be okay. I think I'll be interested to see what pitches they prepare against New Zealand.
I think it's going to be pretty good batting pitches. definitely. I think it's going to be pretty good batting pitches.
God. As long as
So
they,
I mean, the
as
run
long as they
scoring
don't
is
beat,
going to
as long as they
be.
don't, as long as they as long as they don't beat India in the first test, I don't think they'll come up with those radical turners. I've always noticed when India lose the test bad, they start bringing out those turners one way. So I think if India win,
Um,
then it's
you
okay.
know,
Because I,
I think the senior players could do the rest because they've got obviously a big tour coming up against SA. So they're touring SA in December. So
oh yeah,
they
that's a
need all the
long
rest
time.
that they can get.
Oh,
So
you mean
uh,
December this year or next year?
no, this year. Uh,
Oh,
s-
I didn't realize.
as soon as soon as they're done with this New Zealand series, they're obviously going to be touring our shores. So yeah, I think it's time for the senior players to have a break. I think this break will do them wonders, get them a bit energized.
I think
Yeah,
they'll know
so
how to. I think they know what they're doing. They're resting Kohli quite a bit here for the T20s, which is correct. And I think Kohli will be rested for the first test, which is fine. And then they'll play the last few test matches. That's fine. And I think, well, if I can give my two cents
how
on
many
the
tests
South
are they
Africa,
playing?
oh, I would assume
How many tests
two.
are they playing?
I would assume two, but unless I'm wrong, let me just read up on the. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh, I think maybe it's three because if it was two tests, I'm sure maybe Cody would have been told to. But maybe it's probably three test matches. Maybe trying to see now. Oh yeah, three tests. Oh no, I'm lying. Huh. The universe follow the three. No, I'm lying. The first test will be in November 2000 in November 25. The second test will begin in December 3. Oh, I think it's only two test matches.
Yeah, it's two test matches. They probably got to come down and quarantine as well. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, not much time, eh? Really, not much time. This is going to fly by
I don't think our
quite
quarantine
quick.
is as bad as the as countries like America and Australia. I don't think our quarantine system is that bad.
Yeah, but I think what's going to be important, they've got to play a tour game before the first test. So
Yeah.
probably got to fly in here to play a tour game. So
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, this is the perfect time to blood the youngsters, like I said. So I just hope
Yeah.
they give the youngsters a chance this series. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. But actually,
you shouldn't read.
but you know, oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. Can
I
you
guess
hear
you
me?
don't want to read too much into this at the moment. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Uh, I mean, you don't want to read too much into the results, but I'm sure they'll do quite well with the squad that they do
Yeah,
have.
definitely. Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, I think the youngsters will have an opportunity. They'll want to shine and they'll want to make that squad for South Africa and beyond. And if I can give my two cents
Absolutely, absolutely.
On this South African series, initially I wouldn't really want to use the word bullish, but I was quietly, I was more like an India side when they come down to South Africa. But considering how well they've done in the T20 series, I would say that they now become like slight favorites, but I would still back India to try and make history now because if you look at the SA sides gone by, I think India would be probably kicking themselves if they don't make it count now. Because if they don't make it count now, they'll probably never have a better chance. Because by then our SA side would have become better, and once they become better and better, it'll become impossible. So I think they've got to probably take advantage of it now. There's no better time. I know you disagree, but that's how I feel about it.
I mean, look, I think where SA actually do obviously meet India toe for toes in the bowling. I think both teams have good bowling attacks. So
Sorry?
I guess it's a matter of who can bat better between India and SA.
Mm.
Whoever bats better is going to win the series. So whoever can score those runs is going to win the series. So yeah, both bowling attacks are superb. I just feel SA are they're just a bit inexperienced in the batting department. But I mean,
Yeah, that's why I
having said
feel
that,
that's why I feel India's best chances now. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but they must just win it. Whether it's 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, etc. It's just make history now. It can be part of Kohli's legacy, It'll make him feel better.
well, draws. You don't get a lot of draws in SA because I mean the
Of
wickets
course.
are quite good with the fast bowlers. So
Hmm. Hmm. That's
good
true.
thing. good thing you can get draws because I mean, who wants a dull, low, high scoring draw? I mean, we want to see a result. So
You don't get many draws in
that's
South
a good
Africa
thing.
nowadays. It'd be a blimmin'
Absolutely.
miracle, you know. And
So
I
I
think,
mean, just
yeah,
just
I
uh,
think,
just just uh, just a caution for the Indian side. Look, SA wickets are quite lively, and
of
there's
course,
a lot of pace on the team. So in Indian batsmen have got to be wary. They've got to try and see out that new ball. If they try and see out the new ball, then there is runs to be scored. But
yeah,
I think if they go fishing and they go chasing, they could be in a lot of trouble here because the SA wickets are quite challenging for
yeah,
visiting
they
sides.
know that. But they know that. They made say too many times. And that's why I'm looking at it in terms
Yeah,
of past gone by. If you look at the teams gone by, you have to admit it's India's best chance. Because they'll never get a better chance, you know.
I would say so. I would say so. But I mean, SA is a proud chess playing nation,
Yeah,
and they're
naturally.
going to give it their all.
And I
Yeah.
guess what India can take solace from is that if Sri Lanka could beat us, fine. I know it was in Port Elizabeth and the other venue, but the point is that you can take some form of motivation that that it can happen. So
I'll
yeah,
tell you what. I'll tell you what. I think if they were playing on the coast, especially on the East Coast in Durban or PE, I think India would have fancied their chances on those wickets. They definitely would have fancied their chances on those wickets, as opposed to on the high felt where it's a lot more. There's a lot more
mm.
pace and bounce.
But even
So
then, I would.
it's. I'm not sure if it's a bad omen or a good omen that they're playing on a high felt, but I know the Proteas team attack. They love playing on the high felt, and they make good use of those wickets. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I can't wait for that series. It'll be exciting.
yeah, me too.
I can't wait for
And
that series.
and I don't think India will mind how they win it, whether it's 2-1. I think because it's not gonna be easy. It'll be a
Yeah, of
close
course,
sports series. It'll be a close sports series. So yeah, man,
it
just
definitely
wait.
will be a close one. Definitely,
And it'll be nice
it
to
definitely
add to
will be a close one.
Cody's. It'll be nice to. I think, oh yeah, Cody is only going to England. Hey man, they need to play that one test match. So annoying. So okay, so they have to hopefully. I mean, they'll have to see if they can create history here in South Africa and then finish the history in England. I think they'll have to then conquer New Zealand, and I think they would have sorted out all those teams just by, you know,
Yeah,
thinking.
I mean, this test side has really been impressive. Let's not take anything away from them.
Hello,
They've been excellent away from home.
hello.
Yeah, so I think SA is the one place they haven't conquered as yet. I think SA is the one place they haven't conquered as yet, so they wanna. It'll be a big series for them. It's going to be a big series for them, and for
Yeah.
SA as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I think any final words?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope for a good game today. I hope New
Yes.
Zealand can get the job done, but it's never going to be easy against Australia. I mean,
Yeah,
we
of
all know
course.
what Australia brings to the party, and then David Warner is in form at the moment. So I think if they can get David Warner out early and they can get those wickets to the power play, they'll go a long way into winning this game. And
Yeah.
I think India would be too strong. I think India will probably be too strong for New Zealand in that T20 and ODI series that's coming up. So yeah, those are my
And
predictions.
and the and the test matches?
Yeah, I think the test matches as well. I think there'll be a lot of senior players coming back to the test matches. So yeah, I think they'll be too strong for New Zealand in the test as well.
Yeah, okay. I concur with what you are saying, and I think that's pretty much a wrap, eh? So check you on the other side.
Cheers, man. Enjoy your rest of your weekend.
Sure, man.